Hi friends, Cole here. Thanks so much for joining me on YOGATX, and wanted to do a short and simple and oh so delicious video for inflexibility and soreness too. I'm actually quite sore today, and this is gonna hit a lot of my spots, but also for inflexibility, because soreness makes us kind of contracts the muscles, make us a little bit tighter, or they might just be quite tight already. So I think that this video could work for both. And you know, I get lots of questions around flexibility, so I want to dispel a few myths first. You don't have to be flexible to do yoga. So I don't know if you've seen this little meme that has went around. It says, saying you're too inflexible to do yoga is like saying you're too dirty to take a bath. So same kind of thing. Yoga will help open you up, will help bring space into the body, and not just the body, into the mind and into the heart as well. And I also want to note that a lot of our flexibility, so we will open some, and you will open a lot and see your body shift in terms of space, but not anyone, even if you practice every day, is necessarily going to be able to do the splits. Like, that's not, our muscles do have a range. So just so you know, we can find more space, more freedom in the body, but it's not like a point A to point B thing. Just want to let you know that. So this is all personal and unique to your own body, and we get to explore that on our own. Yeah, we'll explore it together, but we explore inside of our own body. Close your eyes down, and we will just begin in a seat. So maybe this is your first yoga class. That would be amazing, and thanks for joining me. Thanks for showing up for you. And same if this isn't your first yoga class. Thank you for joining me, and thank you for showing up for you. We'll connect with the breath. So often yoga teachers will say, find your breath, find your breath. I'm guilty of saying it. So what we mean by that is bring awareness to the breath. And this brings us into the present moment. And also what it does on a physical level is that whenever we come to the breath and focus, especially on the exhale, when we focus on the exhale, it helps to activate the parasympathetic system. The parasympathetic nervous system is what settles us and soothes us. They also call it the rest and digest. So why I bring this up is that this exhale that activates the parasympathetic system is what helps open us. It helps relax us so that we can get deeper into a stretch, that we can ease ourselves in. When the opposite is true, the parasympathetic, we're more tight, the shoulders will be more up by the ears, we're more alert. So we want to activate the other, the parasympathetic, and that will help us get into these nooks and crannies. So that's why you can bring awareness to the breath, and also the whole present moment thing. Being mindful of our body, mindful of our breath, mindful of now. So laying down the thoughts and the worries and the plans, and just creating a space for yourself here. Just a little exploration and an investigation. No pressure. Just curious. And one more inhale. And exhale. Beautiful. Let's bring the arms up, and we're gonna grab the elbows. Yeah? So grab opposite elbows. And then pull away. So as if you were gonna pull the elbows away, but you have a hold of them. You should feel some stretch in the shoulders. And let's lean over a little bit towards the right. And inhale up, and then lean a little bit over towards the left. And inhale up once more. So just feeling into the shoulder girdle a little bit. And over to the left. And to center. Beautiful. And release the arms. You can rotate the shoulders back. And if this position here, I guess I should mention this, if this is not working, you can do some of this in a chair. Also, I'm sitting up on a bolster and I'm sitting on the edge of it so that my knees are able to come down. This gives more space for the low back. So that can be another way to get some more space. You can also sit a little bit higher. I'll just take a twist to each side. So I'll take the left hand to the right knee and twist towards the right. Gaze over the right shoulder. You can pull the belly in just slightly to give yourself a little bit more space to twist. And then we're also twisting with some engagement. Another thing that's nice is to use the left hand on the outside of the thigh and help that press in, and it'll help you kind of with a little torsion. And inhale, come back to center. We'll switch sides. So the right hand on the outside of the left knee, the left thigh. Press in there so that you can twist. Apply the left hand behind the back. Gaze over the left shoulder. Slight pull in of the belly just to activate it. Slow, steady breath, especially the exhale. And release. Beautiful. If you're sitting up on something, then move it out of the way and keep it close by. I'll show you some different options with the blocks and with the bolster. So we're gonna come into butterfly pose. So we'll bring the feet and we'll bring them together. If the hips are real tight, then you can stay sitting up on this bolster. Another option, you can get 2 pillows or you can get blocks. Pillows work just as well, and you can place them underneath. So this helps to support the thighs and the hips. So what we'll do from here is we're going to begin to fold forward. So this may look very different. I'm quite flexible, so I come forward quite a bit. Maybe you're coming forward just a little bit, and I'll show this from the side as well. So a couple different options. You can take this, you can really press down through the sit bones and lift up through the crown of the head. This gives the body lots of length. And then come forward with the heart. See how my back is flat? So this is one way you can do it. I can really feel that in my hips. Another way you can do it, more of a yin style, is that we'll round. So now we're rounding the back, arching the back, and we'll fold forward this way. If we do it this way, really either way, you can use props, a couple different ways to use the props. You can place it on the feet and then rest the forehead there. Maybe you need a couple props. So I'm using 2 blocks here, and in this case, I'll kind of hold them. You can do the same thing with a bolster, with pillows as well. But if you have the blocks on one on top of another, this is a little sketch. We don't want that to fall, so just support. And notice where you feel the stretch and send the breath there. So by sending the breath, we're just kind of visualizing that we are sending the breath there. It's getting the oxygen to open. Maybe you feel it in the back, in the hips, wherever you're feeling it, it's good, as long as it's not painful. Sometimes you'll feel a good hurt, and that's what we're looking for. It's the edge or the good hurt. But if you're feeling pain, then come out. And I'll show one more modification. If you're needing some more, if your hips are quite open, you're needing some more, you can take this block and put it in between the feet. You can also put it wide in between the feet. So then this is separating and bringing you more, some more openness, yeah? And you can do that this way as well. Still use the block. It's a couple different options. And we'll release. Let's set the blocks over. Let's set the blocks up front, actually. Cross the ankles, plant the hands. I got this little fur rug the other day because it's getting cold here. I'm in Australia. I didn't even realize it got that cold here, but it does. So I got this little rug the other day to try to keep me warm on my yoga mat. So tabletop position. Hands under the shoulders, knees under the hips. And we'll take a moment with cat-cow. So cat-cow is a technique that you'll see in lots of classes. We'll kind of open up the spine here. So Cow pose, we're going to drop the belly. Lift the head up and pull the heart center forward. So we're opening the heart, opening the throat, gazing up. The tailbone's lifted here. And really press down through the fingers and the knuckles and not so much in the wrists. If you look down at the hands, you can see if your knuckles are lifted up, then that's dumping all the way into your wrist. So press the knuckles down and see how that changes. So anyway, back to cow pose. We have an arch in the back, the tailbone's lifted, the gaze is lifted. And then exhale for cat pose. We're going to push the ground away, and this is going to help us lift. So push into the knees, push into the hands, arch the back. Tuck the tail, tuck the chin, as if you were going to tuck them towards each other. This is opening up the back. You can visualize the scapula, the shoulder blades spreading away from each other. And begin to move with breath here. So inhale, drop the belly, heart center forward, gaze up. And then on your exhale, push the ground away and allow this to help arch the back as the tailbone and the chin tuck in. Let's do this again. Inhale, lift up. And exhale, push the ground away. Cat pose. Beautiful. Tuck your toes, press the ground away in your hands, and downward facing dog. Do not worry how this looks. Bend the knees deeply. We want to push the ground away though. So you can see that I'm kind of in a triangle pose. The heels don't have to touch the ground, but they're going in that direction. Bend the knees deeply. And then gaze forward towards the hands, and we're going to step up. You can take as many steps as you'd like. And this is going to be a great place for the blocks underneath the hands. If you don't have any blocks, that's fine. Just an option. Bend the knees as much as you need. Even if you don't need to and you're quite flexy here, still have a soft bend in your knees. It's a protection. We don't want to hyperextend. Drop the head down. Shake the head yes and no. Inhale, halfway lift. Press into the blocks or into the shins, and imagine that the crown of the head and the tailbone can reach in opposite directions. And exhale, fold forward, twice more like this. You should be able to feel this in the hamstrings, backs of the legs. Inhale, halfway lift. Tuck the belly in just slightly to engage it. Exhale, fold forward. Once more like this. Inhale, halfway lift, find length. Use the core. And then plant the hands. Let's take a step back with the right foot. Big step back. Bring the back knee down. Yeah? Hands can be on top of the blocks. This is great. Great way to bring the floor to you a little bit. So we're gonna move back and forth between a couple poses. This is low lunge. And then we're gonna send the hips back. Flex the front toes. Can you see that with the block? Flex the front toes back and kind of lean forward. So maybe you move the blocks back a little bit. Maybe the hands are on the floor, but we're just gonna move in between these two positions. On an inhale, come forward. And on the exhale, the hips come back as the front leg straightens. Again, when I say straight, it doesn't have to go all the way straight or even close. Let's move with breath. Inhale forward. Exhale back. Once more. Inhale forward. And exhale back. And let's stay here for a moment. Have a pretty deep bend. I have a fairly generous bend in the front leg. And I'm going to even turn these up on their high side. So it doesn't matter how far that I fold forward. It's going to more be about the position of my legs and my hips. So you can take your hands on your hips and kind of pour your pelvis forward a little bit. You can also think about sticking your booty out. You can even grab your booty and pull it up a little bit. This will intensify the stretch behind the leg, the hamstring. Flex the front toes, that'll also deepen it. And then reach your heart center forward towards the toes. Should be quite active here. One more inhale. And exhale. We're going to take a forward fold. So big step up to the top of the mat. Fold it down. Maybe shake the booty a little bit. Let's step back with the left foot. Plant the back knee down. Hands can be on the blocks here. And again, we're gonna shift back and forth, back and forth. So exhale, come back, straighten the front leg as the hips come back. And again, this very likely won't look the way that it looks for me. So we're looking for the way that it feels. So maybe the movement is much smaller. Maybe it's more like this. So just be where you are. Be patient with yourself. This is a great place. Yoga is such a great place to be able to watch our thoughts, kind of watch how we talk to ourselves. A lot of times we don't notice that during the day. So just be gentle with yourself, just curious. And this time we'll stay back. So if you have the blocks, you can place them up. And again, have as much bend in the knee as you'd like, but do flex the toes back. Roll the shoulders back, bring the heart center forward as if you were gonna touch your heart to your toes. It's not actually gonna happen. That's just the direction that it's going, as if there's an energy arrow pointing that way. And re-engage the toes, flex the foot. I find that we forget that real easy. Our body wants to forget that. And inhale, come forward. This time we're gonna plant the hands and come back into downward facing dog. So plant the hands, lift the back knee and press back into downward dog and just kind of walk out a little bit. Downward dog can be a full body stretch. We'll use it as that. And then walk the feet forward. And we're gonna come down onto the ground. So bring the booty down. Come all the way down to the ground. Shift the legs straight. So a couple different options here. We're gonna do a forward fold. Is to bring a bolster. You can roll up a blanket or pillows underneath the knees. This will really help. You can also bring something underneath the hips if that helps. You'll just have to, we're just exploring all the time, and it'll be different day to day. So we're gonna fold forward. So you can think about it the same way that we did with the butterfly pose when our feet were together. You can lengthen up by pressing down in the sit bones, lifting up through the crown of the head so we have lots of room. And you can fold forward with that length from here, or you can take it more yin style, softer, round the back, and begin to roll forward. If you have a block or you have another pillow, you can place it underneath the forehead. Really just the legs are different. The other is the same as the butterfly. And see what it feels like, especially if you're in the rounded version, to turn the palms up. There's this gesture of receiving or surrender. About 5 rounds of breath. This is a nice one. And when you're ready, slowly roll up. You can think about pressing down into the earth to allow yourself to roll up. Spine stacks. And you can move the props over to the side and we'll just come back to center. So maybe you sit back up onto something if you were before. This always is much easier on my hips and low back. And close your eyes down and let's just take some spinal swirls. So just move your spine in big circles. Just kind of feel into a little bit of the space you created and get a little bit of movement, and let's switch sides. So sometimes, our practice can be quite short and quite potent at the same time. So it doesn't have to be long. When we carve out space to give ourselves a little love, a little attention, you'll be amazed at the benefits. Thank you so much for joining me. And I hope that you found a little bit of space, a little bit of relief, a little bit of ease in this practice. Thanks for joining me. Again, my name is Cole. You can find more information about me at ColeChanceYoga.com. And from all of us here at YOGATX, thank you for letting us be part of your practice.